They go, so, yeah.
Oh, they start with so, yeah. The Irish end with so.
Yeah. Mike, here's one for you then, okay?
Yes.
Borborygmus. What does that mean?
Borborygmus.
Ah, now that is a very nice village in the south of France.
This is like Call My Bluff, isn't it?
You are so close, but can I say, some of those villages may well suffer from borborygmus, which just happens to be a technical term for rumbling stomach.
I've had that. Do you know,
what they would need to do is find one of Alan's best restaurants
I've
or
had that
something.
all week. This is what I'm suffering from. Rumbling stomach. I've had it all week.
It's the trouble with the hyperactive intestine.
Is that what it is?
Here's a little thing I'll just throw into the melting
pot. Bring back Call My Bluff, I say.
Well, weeks after the death of showbiz legend Sir Bruce Forsyth, there've been calls for a lasting a tribute to the star as a statue. Speaking in Parliament yesterday, long-serving Conservative MP Sir David Amos insisted Brucey should be best served by a statue in London.
Edmonton, where he comes from.
Do you think that putting up of statues is a good thing for people or not?
Personally, I don't think it's bad. This year I went to Wales for a holiday. We stopped off at Caerphilly because I'm quite interested in castles and such like, and we had a traipse around there. And there, next to the extortionately priced car park,
how much
was a statue of Tommy Cooper. And in previous years we've ended up in Morecambe, and I think we all know who's commemorating with the statue there.
Why was Tommy Cooper?
I think we should have one in Milton Keynes just like that.
Why was Tommy Cooper at Caerphilly?
Well, he probably born there.
Was he?
I don't know.
Can't work that one out. They got Thierry Henry outside the Emirates, and why not?
But
was he born there?
It depends.
Where's it going to stop?
I don't know. It depends what the statue's like, doesn't it? I mean, there are some pretty awful statues about that don't look anything like the person it's most.
Wasn't there one with Michael Jackson outside Fulham football ground?
Was there?
I believe there was some time ago.
What's his name? He used to own Harrods. What was his name?
Fayed.
Fayed, not him. I thought he would have put one of himself up there.
But I think it's interesting, Mike, and personally, I mean, has Bruce Forsyth contributed to the culture and so on of this country? Yes. And you've got to say yes, haven't you? I think he has. Yeah. And why not?
Well, he had a career that spanned, some 70 years. Yeah. I mean, that's there's a longevity award there regardless of anything. To stay in top flyer, popular with the public for that sort of period of time is an amazing task that he's completed, and I think that we should have statues to him in every part of the country.
Well, I've got a particular place he should be. It's in Buckinghamshire. It's called Chinner.
Edmonton, where he was born. They were talking about putting one up in Edmonton Green in a shopping centre for him. Yeah, but they've got statues for all these people, kings and queens and all that. Arguably, did they do anything for people? You know, some of them. Half these statues in London, you haven't got a clue who they are.
It's an interesting one because, I mean, how do we know they really look like that? You know, I mean, they just.
Well, my wife always says that, but I think some of the paintings are pretty true likenesses because some of the artists.
Seriously, though, where does it all stop? Does every famous person get a statue? Does former mayors of Milton Keynes should they have a statue?
Definitely not.
The day when I'm chipping into the Mike Barry Tribute Statue Fund.
Well, don't start him off. You know what he's like.
I think we're going to actually erect a statue of Mike in the centre of Newport Pagnell
in the
coming years. We will need a large space. Clearly, it will be. We will have to knock down a building or two to be able to fit it in because if it's going to be life size. But Mike is, I think, a candidate for such an accreditation.
I think so. But then again, we could have a Paul Alexander statue outside here, outside this convenience.
Yes, we could. I think he should be immortalised in this convenience.
We're getting more into the realms of not being drunk.
So, what do you think here, then, Mike, regarding the statues?
Bruce Forsyth, yeah.
I don't think we should. I mean, I think maybe in the town that the person was born or something like that, there should be some recognition of the person. But my sort of fear is that we're talking about statues and things like that. But I mean, I don't know whether you've seen the. I suppose it's a statue, but the figurine thing of Greg Rutherford on the way into Milton Keynes.
Where's that?
I mean, it's on the 422.
By the John Lewis Warehouse.
Yeah, by the John Lewis Warehouse.
Why is it over there?
Well, because one of the main entrances into Milton Keynes, you know. So
I've never seen it.
No, well, you obviously never come down that way. You know,
well, I haven't lately. No,
it's a weird sort of sculpture, and you know, it's
representation of a long jump.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's very cleverly done, you know, but I don't know.
But then we got these other statues, haven't we? These artistic type ones, like the Whisperers or whatever. He's outside the library, or outside the county, the civic hall.
I think
what do you think of those?
Cool, actually.
I quite
to
like
have
them, yeah.
some things, it adds a little something. And with Milton Keynes, when it first started out, obviously it's growing, it's building up, and to have things like that, talking points. Not a problem. I mean, are the cows?
If we had a statue of Bruce Forsyth, it would be very nice to see you, wouldn't it?
To see you?
Yeah,
nice.
But
nice.
You see, the things like yes.
Where does it stop?
They do well.
The concrete cows put Milton Keynes on the map years and years ago with some of the radio shows and all that sort of thing.
Sense of ridicule, wouldn't they?
Well, they were, but they still put Milton Keynes on the map.
Still on the map, I agree.
There's a town in northern France, I can't remember whether it was Lille or somewhere like that, on the way to Lille, I think it was on. There was a roundabout there, and they've got concrete cows there as well, so they nicked our idea.
If you go to Stowe, you will see a section there, and I believe it was laid out by Mr. Capability Brown, Lancelot Brown,
Was it really?
whatever his name was.
Yeah.
And there's sort of an elongated statue, if you like, with figurines of the 12 worthies.
Yeah.
Now that would be
worthies?
quite cool. Oh, you got Newton, and you got Shakespeare, and you got a couple of kings. You got all sorts there. You have to Google that one in. I think it's 12 worthies.
We're going to move on because we haven't got a lot of time left now.
Lynn's saying, so on the subject of statues, where would you guys on the CRMK, Bob, Mike, Alan and Kevin, like your personal statue to be placed, and why? That's a good one, Lynn.
Well, thank you, Lynn.
Well, Mike's would be everywhere.
Graveyard.
I mean, like he's all sorts of places. I don't know, where would you like yours?
Well, I suppose
on a castle somewhere.
being
Windsor.
born in Stony Stratford, then I guess something just outside 19 Calverton Road.
Lord Slaymaker
Just
of Stony.
on the wall outside that semi-detached house, then that'd be quite cool, I would imagine.
I think
Barring that, a plaque on the wall.
I think I'd like mine on a Milton Keynes roundabout.
Oh, you got permission, by the way, to leave early from Lynn.
Oh, thanks, Lynn.
10
It's
minutes
so
early.
kind of
The
you.
masses have spoken.
I've got to go and hire a wheelchair, of all things.
Rebelliousness will not be tolerated.
Rebelliousness will not be tolerated.
No.
But I'm a rebel.
Where are you going to hire your wheelchair
cause?
from?
I believe there's a place in Newport Pagnell High Street.
Why do you want a wheelchair?
Because I'm taking an elderly lady to a Rolling Stones concert.
Oh, this is your sister.
No, well, he was my sister as well, but it's my friend's mother. She's 90, stone deaf. So we're just going to take her to the concert, and she can watch all the
she's
things
in
on
the
stage.
miming.
And she won't know a thing about it. Absolutely marvellous.
Bit of Rolling
play
Stone deaf then.
Talking about disabilities, I just watched last night 2 episodes of I can't remember what it's called. I put it on the Facebook page about a group of disabled people, various disabilities, went on a trekking trip down the Ho Chi Minh Trail in Vietnam. It was quite enlightening, actually. One guy was riding a motorcycle. He holds a record for doing over 200 miles an hour for a one-armed man on a motorcycle. One was almost
Which arm was he missing?
His right arm.
Oh,
Was it his right arm? No, his left arm.
Oh, so he could only indicate he wanted to turn right, not left.
Yeah, it was amazing how he rode this bike, especially through the crowds of other bikes in Hanoi and places. I recommend watching it. It was a very good programme.
Talking about that, I saw in one of the national newspapers in the week that the Royal Signal's motorbike display team has been disbanded.
Yeah, that's a shame, isn't it?
It is a shame, really.
Why is this?
Well, because they
funding.
They want to change
because it's
image.
Tradition, and people want to get rid of traditions in this country.
It's their image, because the Royal Signals, obviously they relied on motorbikes to move messages backwards and forwards and all that sort of thing, but now of course it's all done by electronic stuff and everything, so another sad case here, and it's I wish somebody's seen a little bit of sense, but I don't know whether you remember in the paper, I think it was last year, there was an elderly couple, complete nutters obviously, but they lived in a caravan in a sort of woodland place, and brother and sister, and they actually recluse, but he shot dead a burglar at his caravan, and he was facing jail last night for illegally possessing a firearm. Reuben Gregory blasted Wayne Digby in the chest with a shotgun as he and his sister were attacked at their home. Gregory shot him with a double-barreled shotgun through the door, and as the intruder lay dead, he told police, "I'm the one who's done it, mate." And he was armed apparently with a machete, a wooden mallet, a bottle of bleach, and a firebomb.
The burglar, not him.
Well, no, yeah, and this was because they, in the 80s, Miss Gregory, who was his sister, and her mother were attacked and tied up by robbers during a raid, because they live in a 22-foot caravan parked in a remote woodland near Slough, and it's been the home to this guy and his sister Kathleen, 60, for more than 25 years. But however, they decided that he wasn't going to be done for murder. But yesterday, but the East Berkshire Magistrates Court, he was released on bail but faces jail for up to 5 years when he was sentenced at Reading Crown Court. And this is for having a firearm without a licence. But I mean, surely you would just sort of say, all right, you know, this is a really, really sad case. You know, this was a couple minding their own business, living in as a recluse, and these Herberts got all they deserved. And
common sense again, isn't it?
Apparently, he did apply for a firearm licence, but he was refused. That was several years ago. He applied for it. They lived a frugal existence, had little money, and the caravan had no running water, electricity or landline phone, and I was only accessible by footpath. So these two tow rags went up there, and I think one of them deserved all he actually got.
It was easy pickings.
This
has got echoes of the old, was it Tony Martin or something, many years ago?
Yeah.
And quite frankly, it is a dangerous age that we live in.
It is really, isn't it?
It's sad that, well, people feel the need to actually have stuff. But previous experience has led to this.
They live in fear, don't they?
Isn't it?
They live in fear. So, and you know, the police aren't going to protect them. Nobody's going to protect them, so they have to protect themselves.
Well, if somebody broke into my house, I would have no hesitation in taking them out.
Bloody right.
Yeah, I'll do my best as well.
I think the only trouble is that you know, I mean, all right, I've got two cookeries at home. You know,
two what?
Cookeries, the Gurkha knives.
Oh right.
You know, and I mean they're pretty lethal weapons, really. But and if old Bill came round to my house and found them there, or loaded in a drawer and all that sort of thing, I'd probably get charged with having an offensive weapon.
Oh no, you told everybody.
You know, well,
you cannot be charged with that. You can be charged with having an offensive weapon in an inappropriate place, like walking down the street with it, but if it's in your own home, hanging up on the wall, it's a Gurkha knife, it's not an offence.
Well, that's good then. This is rather sad. I know Kevin will jump on an answer for this one, but apparently up to 33,000 badgers got a death sentence this week as the government flawed campaign to eradicate bovine TB from cattle. Badgers can give TB to cattle, but so do other cattle as well. But a 10-year government study concluded that badger culling can make no meaningful contribution to cattle TB control in Britain.
Quite agree. There's no proof that they're carrying it, is there, either?
But the farmers seem to think so, though. And,
well, farmers seem to think a lot of things.
Well, but it's their cows, it's their land, and if they've got badgers on their land that are causing their cows problem, then I think they've got the right to take the badgers out.
Where is the irrefutable proof of that?
What do badgers do to cattle?
You don't need it. So assumptions saying, I think this is happening because of that, that's good enough for you to take out badgers.
The thing is, because we read little books and we see badgers and we think they're lovely little cuddly things. I mean, they're quite nasty little beasties.
Well, we don't attack cattle.
Of course they are. But all animals are nasty little beasties.
You wouldn't want to be a worm in a badger's environment.
Even human beings. I mean, human beings are worse than badgers.
Yeah, they go and stab horses for no reason in fields in Milton Keynes.
Got a lot to answer for, human beings.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, the Wildlife Trust says that there is an alternative. Apparently, it costs them £82 to vaccinate a badger against TB, and the government. How much do you think it costs the government to kill one?
Well, I hate to think.
A lot more than that.
£6,800 apparently to kill one.
Why? Where do you get this figure from?
Well, that's absolutely ridiculous. I do know a little bit about these things, and actually, you know, a cartridge is less than £1.
Well, I mean,
yeah, but you only got to dispose of the carcass. Don't forget.
I can only say
You got to find the badger.
Yeah. Can you eat badger meat?
Employ someone
just leave it there. The foxes will get
People
rid of it for you.
do, Bob, eat badger meat. There are
badger
a number
sandwiches.
of